Welcome back to Rap and Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy T the Monster coming at you live and direct per usual. And Backlash just wrapped, and we're going to get right into it. What was your favorite part about Backlash? Be sure to like, comment, and let me know below there in the comment section. But of course, as always, if you haven't, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So let's get right into it. Per usual, I got my notes, and let's talk about what the fuck happened. So, first match of the night, of course, was the Fatal 4-Way between Jacob Fatu, the United States Champion, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and of course, Drew McIntyre. Before I get anything else, I heard that Drew McIntyre was actually injured after this match. I heard he actually hit his head on the ground in that table spot with Damian Priest from the South of Heaven. Hope he's okay. Sounds like he is. But getting into the match, of course, Fatu got them motherfuckers going early, so again, it started off with a stare off, everybody kind of looking at each other, trying to figure out who's going to attack who. Fatu gets that shit going, and the energy is just, and it's amazing. Fatu literally has them in the palm of their hand when it comes to this energy and shit. The crowd was kind of dying down, and then Jacob did, I forgot what he did, but he did something, and the crowd got right back into it. So good job for Jacob with that. I like how Damian Priest, using some dirty tactics, pulling the ref out, of course, when you're about to win and things like that. Drew and Priest, of course, they were brawling out there in the outside of the ring, getting into the crowd, leading to that South of Heaven spot I talked about, of course, where I believe Drew hit his head on that floor, where it's like, all right, now you gotta be careful. Also, we saw that Solo came and interfered, kind of what some people were going to, or what some people were assuming would happen. But not only did Solo appear and interfere, he came with what's my man's name, Jeff Cobb. He came with Jeff Cobb, so he's Jeff Cobb's debuted here on the main roster. So we got Jeff Cobb, and will he be the newest member of the Bloodline? Will Jeff Cobb be the one replacing Jacob Fatu now that he's appeared and everything like that? Jacob, of course, looked distraught, didn't know what the fuck was going on, kind of like what he said in this post-show press conference, where he's like, "You just saw my face. I don't know what's going on." So I think that there's a Jacob face turn imminent that's going to happen. Obviously, Solo, of course, getting involved in doing his shit. I think that's supposed to set up toward a Solo versus Jacob match at SummerSlam. And if that's the case, then goddamn it, let's make this shit happen and let's make this storyline worth something. Let's also build up Solo. Also, Becky and Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Becky, of course, out here using cheating and heel-like tactics, of course, to win the match, using the rope and things like that, and got caught. This was a great display of wrestling, and it was a great match, as I said it would be. And it was good to see Lyra get the experience that she needed. And of course, with the way they ended and the finish and everything with the roll-ups and the pins, it really could have ended any kind of way. And then of course at the end, Becky got frustrated, and of course we had to go and get 25,000 officials to get little old Becky Lynch off of her. The match after that, of course, was Dom and Penta. Great display of luchadorism. I just made that word up. And of course, the suicide dive DDT to the ground from Dom. That was cool as shit. I haven't seen a move like that in a while. So shout out to Dom and Penta for coming out with these amazing spots, along with the Mexican Destroyer onto the apron from Penta. Great spot, kept Dom safe, kept himself safe. Also, you saw Dom come to check on him a little bit too, if you're really into wrestling and know the spots and things too. So a great level of professionalism from Dom to check on Penta. And of course, Dom walked out after interference from Americano as still the Intercontinental Champion. It'll be interesting to see now if it's going to be Dom versus Americano, maybe coming soon for that belt, because I think Chad deserves that. After that, of course, we got the Pat McAfee versus Gunther match. In that match, we saw Pat McAfee step in that bitch with some cool grays on and got his ass kicked. Now, Pat McAfee also didn't just get his ass kicked, but he put on a nice little fight himself, gave Gunther some chops and things like that as well. Put on a nice little display of wrestling. From what I've been seeing on the highlights and things like that, people's comments, they actually like the fact that Pat put on. You know what I'm saying? The crowd had Pat into it. It was a nice little fun match. Pat put on for his friend, and even though he lost and Gunther won, it was great to see Gunther kind of give him that respect at the end of the match, just to kind of say, all right, cool, you did your thing, whatever type shit. So one time for Pat McAfee for stepping into the ring, proving his toughness, and then probably getting on Monday on his show to talk about it as well, and the real things about what really happened. So shout out to Pat McAfee for standing up for his friend. Let's see what else is the last match. Of course, how can I forget? Of course, the last time that we ever are going to see John Cena versus Randy Orton in St. Louis for the belt on the line. Of course, Cena went over, saw this happening, of course, but the crowd started chanting, "You can't wrestle," and then the others started chanting, "Yes, he can." First time I ever seen that happen for a John Cena match. So great job to the crowd for being involved in that. They're chanting Randy, they're chanting John. Obviously, everyone's engaged in this match. They're talking about both the wrestlers, of course. Orton gave Cena an AA onto the announce table. It did not break, but somehow John Cena's arm broke the table afterwards, which I thought was fucking hilarious. And of course, them two being the great professionals that they are, they reset that spot with a real table there on the side. So great job, of course, giving the fans what they wanted. They wanted to see somebody go through a table, which we'll talk about later, which they actually did in the match also. So and also I want to talk about this, like the referee, like 25 referees went down. 2 referees went down, and all of a sudden there's no more referees, and 25 agents and Nick Aldis come out, and which doesn't make sense. Like, I felt like more referees should come out when that happened, but I got it. You know, I understand it was a step to everyone getting RKO'd. But R-Truth also comes out and takes a bullet for John Cena. God damn, he took a bullet for his life, his biggest hero, his life hero, and he got RKO'd for it. Like, you saw it in Randy's face. He's like, "Man, what are you doing here, Ron?" Boom, RKO. Cena gets up, hits him with the belt. 1, 2, 3. Cena walks out. 17 can't be seen, or whatever the fuck they're saying with him now. So it was great to see this match. It was a tremendous match, like a solid match between these two for this to be their last one, even with the roles reversed, Cena as heel. Also, if you saw in the press conference, I don't know if you guys saw the post-show press conference, John Cena he wasn't scheduled to be there per Triple H. Triple H is there giving the numbers per usual. John Cena walks up, belt in hand, whispers in Triple H's ear. He goes, and Triple H just goes, "You know, we got the 17-time champion here. I didn't know he'd be here." Da, da, da. So Cena gets down there. He talks about how he's going to be better with the media. R-Truth comes in shortly after the first question is asked. He walks up to John. He says, "John, I always knew you can do it. You have always been my hero. I never doubted you, never counted you out, even when the fans said you can't wrestle." So when he says this, Cena's face has changed. He stands up, he gets in his face, he says, "Ron, that was too far. And if you say something else, there's going to be repercussions." So R-Truth was just basically trying to explain himself. Well, man, and then Cena AAs him through the table. Now that makes me think, are they setting up for R-Truth and John Cena at Saturday night's main event, or is this one of those one-off type situations? So great storytelling, of course, being from the R-Truth and John Cena storyline standpoint, where of course he's always said that John Cena has been his childhood hero, even though he's older than him. And of course this kind of solidifies Cena further into a heel, because R-Truth is literally the lovable comedian of the roster. But what are your thoughts on Backlash? Like, what do you think was the best part of Backlash? Could it have been better? I mean, obviously there's a couple things that should have been better with the referee bumps and everything like that. You know, whatever. But WWE, I think they put on what they needed to put on for this show to be successful. But in the meantime, of course, if you haven't, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here to Rap and Wrestling. I will see you soon. Peace.